We are Group 5, and our topic is Universal Basic Income. My name is Sophia Shippey, and my other team members are Maria, Peter, Esteban, and Kaylee. So what is Universal Basic Income? Universal Basic Income is a government-guaranteed payment plan for every citizen. It is seen in the form of monthly payments to citizens whether they are employed or unemployed. Some payment plans are distributed to people based on what they make, even if they fall below the poverty line or other factors. The point behind such payment plans is to help individuals pay for basic living expenses to help provide more financial security and stability. It is also implemented to help alleviate evolving jobs based on technological innovations. Currently, different nations, states, and cities are using pilot experiments with universal basic income in overall hopes of helping the issue of increasing income inequality. Universal basic income is also referred to as citizens' income, guaranteed minimum income, and basic income. In this presentation, we are reviewing the significance and impact of universal basic income, as well as current policies and funds, and finally, a review of all the pros and the cons. Thank you.
So next, we're going to talk about the significance and the impact to the relevant population. And some of the significance that comes along with universal basic income is this idea that it's going to reduce income inequality, reduce poverty, and replace need-based social programs. So we look at the top 0.1% compared to the bottom 90. We can see that definitely there is a discontinuation in the growth of the bottom 90% in terms of growing wealth. The top 1% are definitely growing exponentially, and we could think of people like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, some of the most wealthy people in our nation compared to the bottom 90%. And when this is breaking down, we can look at the bottom chart here, US population. So Black and Latinx people make up a little bit more than 30% of our world's nation. And when this is taken into account, when looking at some of the most wealthy people on the Fortune 500 list of CEOs, less than 5% are Black or Latinx. So these are definitely people who are being impacted by such, by this income inequality, which is represented here on these charts. And who does this impact necessarily? This is going to impact impoverished families below the poverty line, because universal basic income is going to help shorten and make that income inequality a little bit smaller than what it is. It's going to help bring that bottom 90% up to a minimum to where they can't make less than that, and make their income on a yearly basis a little bit closer to that of the top 0.1%, as well as some policies even considering taxing some of the most wealthy people in the nation. It's going to help impact workers with unfavored jobs, because these people are going to be able to quit their jobs yet still receive universal basic income, and during that time while they're unemployed, they're even given the chance to look for more favorable jobs that are more suitable to them. Current welfare recipients, just because they don't have to go through the whole paperwork, they don't have to go through the whole process and stress of dealing with housing and food vouchers and things along that line. They don't necessarily have to go along with that. And this also going to impact those who are on the wrong end of income inequality. And as we saw in the last slide, it's going to impact majority of minorities, just because it also consists of Black and Hispanic. We saw some of the most wealthy CEOs, less than 5%, consist of minority figures in the wealth industry. And so again, going back to welfare, we can think of this idea that people can be too wealthy to receive, any benefits from welfare, yet if they're still poor and are receiving welfare isn't necessarily, getting them out of poverty. It's still kind of keeping them there, and it just makes us go back to this idea that the poverty and welfare system has to be, kind of reintroduced in a new way, and this way is going to be universal basic income.
Some relevant policies that I read upon that were implemented around the globe were in Brazil. They experimented with cash transfers to poor families since the 1990s, and this program was called the Bolsa Familia. These transfers were conditional, and the recipients were expected to keep their children in school and visit health clinics. This year, around 52,000 people in Marica received the basic income under a program called the Renda Básica de Cidadania, where each citizen received 130 reais per month. In Finland, in 2017, the Finnish government randomly selected 2,000 jobless people and gave them a monthly payment of 560 euros for 2 years. Here, the participants were told that they would continue to receive money if they got a job, but the money didn't end up helping them find a job, but it did help them feel happier and less anxious. And at the end of the study, they reported that they had more faith in other individuals as well as societal institutions. In Namibia, between 2008 and 2009, people 60 and under in Otivero Omitara received a monthly basic income of 100 Namibian dollars. According to BN and the Center for Public Impact reports, child hunger decreased, school enrollment rates increased, and poverty-related theft decreased. In Germany in 2014, the NGO Main Grundeinkommen launched an income raffle, and at the end of 2019, it has been distributed to about 500 individuals from all across the world who have submitted their identities. Um, this income was 1,100 a month per year, and 80% of the beneficiaries said that the money helped them feel less stressed, allowed them to continue their education, and focus more at work. And in 2019, they launched another initiative where 250 randomly selected people in Germany received unconditional monthly payments of up to $466. And currently, in the midst of the Corona or COVID-19 outbreak in August, Germany launched a new basic income experiment where 120 people would receive $1,200 a month for 3 years. And lastly, in Kenya, Give Directly organization paid to 20,000 individuals among 245 rural communities, 75 cents per adult per day, monthly for 12 years. So it has been observed that cash transfers have helped the economy and neighboring communities thus far.
Very recently, the LA County Board of Supervisors approved a proposal for a pilot guaranteed income program. The program is supposed to provide 1,000 people with a monthly income of $1,000. Some people that were considered to be participants in the program are women that just got released from jail and live at or below the poverty line. Some concerns that board members had who disagreed with the motion were the lack of research there is within LA County and UBI programs, and also the possibility of fraud taking place.
This policy would require approximately $2.5 trillion in annual funding. While some plans vary, popular UBI programs propose that this system will replace welfare programs and assume their roughly $432 billion budget. Alongside this, the program will receive further funding from a new value-added tax. Doing this would place a tax at each step of the supply chain, allowing for the government to collect funding more effectively from large companies who had previously paid little in taxes due to technical loopholes. However, due to its similarity in sales taxes, some speculate that this value-added tax will place a bigger burden on the poor as they are paying a larger portion of their income for necessary goods. Proponents have refuted by saying that only certain luxury goods will have this tax for customers to ensure that the wealthy are paying the most, thus leading to a more equitable redistribution of wealth. The most common concern is inflation due to increased demand for goods generated by this new source of disposable income. High inflation could disrupt the overall economy by eroding purchasing power. Some might also question why funds are being given to the wealthy when they should be given only to the people who actually need the money. Additionally, a steady source of income could disincentivize people from working and lead to a decrease in workplace productivity. Lastly, some might be concerned that eliminating certain safety net programs to fund UBI could do more harm than good to those currently relying on them. In response to these potential harms, proponents say that the income given to the wealthy will ultimately even out due to the progressive nature of the tax. Instead, poor populations will have the greatest net increase in income, making it less likely that their spending behavior will lead to inflation. This new financial insurance could lead to more positive risk-taking, such as pursuing higher education and people waiting to find jobs that they actually enjoy. As for the claim of increased laziness, a study done by Harvard and MIT researchers examining similar cash transfer programs in developing countries found no evidence that these programs will lead to any significant reduction in the workforce. Lastly, a study done by Oxford Economics found that automation will displace about 8.5% of the global workforce by 2030. Thus, many people believe that UBI will help individuals struggling during this transitionary period by giving them a stable source of income. Taking everything into consideration, you can see that both sides raise valid points. While there is some evidence pointing to the potential benefits of the proposed UBI, the real-life consequences of wide-scale implementation could play out very differently. Thus, pursuing this plan would be inherently risky given the immense economic restructuring needed to achieve it. For more information, we encourage you to visit these sources. Thank you.